Million Club. He's 4-time elite coach. And get this, you guys, he's got over 70 diamonds in his downline. That is absolutely incredible. That goes to show consistency, duplication, building deep. And I'm really, really excited for you guys to hear from Pat tonight. So Pat, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and, share your story, we're excited to hear from you.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, that was awesome that Bree got to come and share with the team. We did a little diamond retreat down in South Florida. I used to live in Delray Beach, kind of near where Bree lives now, but I just moved to Austin, Texas, February. So, but I've been a coach for a long, long time. Man, it's been like 10 years now. People love having me on their calls for the mindset piece. So there's really only two things I teach coaches. It's the mindset and the skills. And honestly, the skills, I think I could teach to like my nephew who's 9 or 10. Like he's really smart for 9 or 10, but like I think he could pick up the skills piece. It's really the mindset that is like 80% of the battle. So that's what I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about today. So we do a really, really amazing job of overcomplicating this business. It's really such a simple business. So to me, like the thing it comes down to, if someone came to me and they said, Pat, how do I build a business that's going to impact a ton of lives? Or if someone came to me and said, Pat, how do I build a business that's going to create a 6-figure income business? I would say the same thing to both those people. Find and develop 2 or 3 really great leaders. That's it. If you can find and develop 2 or 3 really amazing leaders in this business, you're going to be able to help way more people than you ever could on your own. And there's always a direct correlation between how many lives you and your team are impacting and what you earn. I think I could count on one hand the amount of leaders that I've developed personally. And as a team though, we help over 1,000 new people every month with a challenge pack and a challenge group. You don't need to have a million amazing coaches. You just need 2 or 3 really great ones. So here's the catch though. Those 2 or 3 really amazing coaches that you want on your team, a lot of times are going to be people that are going to have to watch you for a while. Or people that are going to probably sit back and watch and say to themselves, is this person really serious about this? And is this a real opportunity? And sometimes they're going to be people that are already on your team that are still asking those questions, watching you. They might already be a coach watching you and asking those same questions. Or they might not be a coach yet and they're watching you on social media asking those questions. They're probably not going to like anything you post or comment on anything you post, but they're watching. So have any of you guys ever tried to run up an escalator that's going down, like at the mall? Any of you guys ever tried to do that? Some troublemakers on here. So that's kind of how this business is in the beginning. So you get really excited, right? And you're like, all right, I'm going to run up this thing. I'm going to do this thing. You get on this escalator and you start running full speed up this thing, right? And you're inviting like crazy. You're sharing on social media like crazy. And you start to feel like, like I'm not moving as fast as I want. Like people aren't saying yes as fast as I want them to. Because like we said, they need to watch for a while. And then what happens though when a new coach gets discouraged and they feel like people are saying no and they're not saying yes as fast as they want? What do? They take a break, right? They say, I don't want to do it this month, or I need to reset, or whatever it is, right? But what happens when you're on an escalator that's going down and you stop and you take a break? You go backwards. And that's what happens in this business. Because when you take a break, all those people that were watching you, that were asking that question, is this real? And is this person serious about this? They see you take that break. They see you stop, and you lose all that momentum. You lose all that credibility, and you go back down the escalator. You lose all those seeds you planted. And I know this from experience because I did this to myself my first few years in this business. I didn't have a ton of success the first few years because I'd get really excited after an event, or I'd get on a team call like this or whatever it was. And I'd be like, all right, I'm getting back on this escalator and I'm going to run to the top of this thing. I'm going to kill this thing. Like, let's go. I'd get on, I'd be inviting, I'd be talking to people, following up, posting. And then I'd be like, oh man, they're not saying as fast as I want. Life would get in the way, whatever it was. And I'd take a break. I'd stop. And all those people were like, dang, like he's not even doing it anymore. Good thing I didn't join him. And what was even worse was I had coaches that were doing this with me, and they saw me take these breaks and they were like, like he's going back down this escalator. Like, why am I on this thing? And then they would stop and then they would go back down the escalator. And I did this to myself over and over again. And I would see all these coaches get on this escalator after I did. They'd start as a coach after I became a coach, and they didn't stop. Like, they would stay consistent for a full year. And by the end of that year, all of a sudden now they had these running partners. They had their 2 or 3 really great coaches that were running with them, and they were building these businesses that were more successful than mine, even though I had been a coach for longer. There's 2 start dates in this business: the day you sign up as a coach and the day you get on the escalator for the very last time and never stop. And I hope that you guys decide that today's that second start date. The difference between those 2 start dates for me was like a few years, which is terrible. Like, it took me a few years before I finally said, I'm getting back on this escalator and I'm not getting off this thing. And my new coaches that come on now, like, they understand that better than I did. So their start date, they have 2 start dates on the same day. The day they sign up is the day they never get off the escalator. Those are the ones that end up having the most success. So this is kind of the escalator mindset thing that I like to talk about. So there's 2 things I'm always working on with my coaches, because once coaches have these 2 things, they never get off the escalator. They never stop. So the first is a really strong why. And that's something you guys probably hear all the time, but what I call it is like a why list. So I help my coaches create a why list, from the small stuff to the big stuff. And they actually have to write it down. So that could be, like, I had a coach say that she wanted to afford the softer Charmin toilet paper. I was like, write that shit down, add it to the list. So that was like part of her why list, right? And then we added some other stuff, like pay for her cell phone bill, get her Shakeology paid for, start to pay off some of her student loans. And then the bigger stuff, like eventually, for this particular coach, she wanted to create financial freedom to leave her job. And I said, great. Like, what would that life look like though? Like, if you were able to leave your job, like what would be the first thing you would do when you woke up in the morning? What would be the next thing you'd do? Like, what kind of trips would you go on? What would you want to do with your kids, or whatever it is that it is for you? Like, this is an opportunity that allows you to mold your ideal life. Like, everyone's ideal life looks a little bit different, but this platform allows you to create and mold that ideal life for you and for your coaches. So help them create that why list. They got to have that why fuel. So a lot of people will say, like, oh, I just want to help people. And I'm like, great. Like, you have to want to help people to be successful in this business, but you don't need a business to help people. So why did you start a business? Part of your why list has to be personal to you and your family and your family's future. So help them understand that and help them create this why list, and have them leave some empty space at the bottom of their why list so they can constantly be adding things to it. Because we're always going through life looking at what other people are doing and saying, like, oh man, like, that's so cool, but they're like, I would love to be able to do that. Like, but I can't because I don't have the time or the money or whatever. Let's stop doing this whole, like, oh, it would be cool to do that. Start saying, like, I'm gonna do that, and add it to your why list and allow that to be part of your why fuel, so you can fill that why tank and show up on the escalator on the days you don't feel like it. Because if you have that why list and it's personal to you and your future and your family's future, like, that's going to get you to show up on the days you don't feel like it. And it's going to get you to make time on the days you don't have time. Because some days you just don't want to help people. You're going to be tired. But if you have this other why list of all this other stuff, that's the fuel you need on those days that you don't feel like getting on social media and talking to people and invite. So that's kind of that's the why list piece. And then the second is the belief. Like you could have the greatest why list in the world, but if you don't believe like the things you're doing every day are going to help you achieve everything on that why list, like you're not going to show up on the days you don't feel like it. So when I first started, like I had like a cool why, I had like this why list and stuff, but my belief kind of wasn't there. So when I would hear too many no's, like I would stop. I'd get on the escalator and I'd start making some momentum. I'd get a few coaches, and then my belief would get like hit because someone said something or someone said no, or it just wasn't happening as fast as I wanted. And I'd start going back down this escalator. Meanwhile, watching all these other coaches get on the escalator, stay on it, and have a lot of success with this thing. I finally got back on this escalator for the last time, and I said to myself, like, does personal development make me feel like a better version of myself? Yes. Do these workouts make me feel like a better version of myself? Yes. Does surrounding myself with these kind of positive people make me feel like a better version of myself? Yes. Helping other people, does that make me feel better? Yes. I'm never going to stop doing these things then. I'm going to do these things regardless of what happens with my business. And if you have this mindset of like, yo, I'm going and I'm doing this, and if you want to come with me, cool. But if you don't, cool. I'm not desperate for you. I don't need you to run with me, but you're either going to come with me or you're going to watch me be successful without you, because I'm doing this with or without you. I love you. I want you to do this with me, but I'm doing this. I'm in. I'm never going to stop living this type of lifestyle, because this is just who I am. This is just the kind of person I am. And I want to surround myself with these kind of people that know they have more in them that they're not tapping into yet, and they want to do the things every day. They're going to allow them to start to tap into that stuff that they haven't tapped into yet. So I'm doing this for me, and I want you to come with me, but if you don't, that's fine. I'm going. It's amazing what happens when you start to have that attitude of I'm going and I'm never getting off this escalator, with or without you, versus, oh, I'm desperate for you. I need you to do this with me. People can smell that if you're desperate for them. But if you just commit to this and you say, I'm never getting off this thing, you can come or you can get left behind. Like, people are like, okay, like this person's not desperate. Like, the FOMO starts to set in a little. So that's part of the belief, is like, I need to make sure that these coaches I'm working with are like that. Like, they're just the kind of people that really buy into and know that that's just who they are. They're someone that wants to work out. Like, they want to feel like, I can't swear on here, but like, they want to feel like an effing badass. They know that they're holding back. Like, there's something that's holding them back, their own fear, their own doubt. They're in their head, their anxiety, their stress, whatever it is. Like, there's something that's holding them back, and they're tired of it because they know they're an effing badass and they're ready to go. That's the belief that I need to tap into with my coaches. And I'm constantly doing that with them, constantly helping them start to re-fall in love with their journey again. So that they're just feeling that if they don't like the book, like if a coach is reading a book for 3 months, like, it's not their book. Like, if it takes you 3 months to read a book, that's not your book. Like, throw that thing away, give it away, donate it, find another book that speaks to you. If there's a program that you don't like, don't finish the workout program. Like, find one that you love. Like, yes, stick out some of the workouts. Yeah, you're not going to love every single day because the workouts are hard, but like, find one that you really, really want to do, that you love. So you're constantly having to reinvent yourself, re-fall in love with that journey again. Cool? So the other way I really help my coaches with their belief is I reverse engineer how they're going to find those 2 or 3 great leaders. I'm constantly bringing it back to the big picture. It's keeping it really simple for them. So they're not getting looking around at what other coaches are doing and getting distracted. It's like, I'm constantly coming back to 2 or 3 leaders. Find your 2 or 3 leaders. Escalator mindset. I talk in hashtags. Hashtag escalator mindset. Like, my coaches know that they're going to get the hashtag escalator mindset. Like, they know that if they're falling off the escalator, they're going to hear it, and they know why it's important to them to get back on the escalator, for them personally and for the business. So I reverse engineer how this is going to lead to their 2 or 3 leaders. So, what happened? Oh, I thought I was getting logged out for a second. So the 2 or 3 leaders are going to be people that are going to be coming out of your challenge groups for the most part. A lot of them. Some of them are going to be people that love this lifestyle. They're going to be people that love personal development, that love work, that love just feeling active and that love being around positive, supportive people. So they're going to be people that are probably going to be coming out of your challenge groups for the most part. And you're going to get people into your challenge groups by the escalator mindset, by being on the escalator yourself. Like, that's just kind of how it works. Like, showing up every day, showing people that you're not just a one-hit wonder. Like, this is you. This is the lifestyle you're living from here on out. From here on out. That's how you're going to get people to eventually say, okay, now I'm ready, because you're going to allow them to watch you like a guinea pig, even though they're not liking anything or commenting on anything. Well, there's like 32 chat things going on. I haven't watched any of it, but just lost my train of thought. Well, okay, I'll catch up with this. So that's that belief part, the reverse engineering, I think is really something I come back to personally, but it's also something I help my coaches with. So another hashtag I always say, hashtag tunnel vision, hashtag 5 best friends, 5 best friends. Sounds really funny, but so my tunnel vision every single month, and I saw Bree's already at Success Club 14. But one of my tunnel vision every single month is I'm going to find 5 people that are going to be my best friends for that month, that I'm going to give hashtag an amazing experience. I'm going to give them an amazing experience. Like, these are going to be these 5 people are going to be my lifers, my homies. Like, we're going to go deep. We're going to push each other for this month, and they're going to have the best experience I can possibly give them. That's my tunnel vision. Like, anytime I feel like I'm distracted by something over here or something over there, or something's off, I'm like, no. Hashtag tunnel vision. Like, I'm coming right back to I'm finding my 5 best friends. I'm going to get those 5 people. I'm going to love on them. I'm going to give them the best experience, because I know that those are my people that are going to make the best coaches. Because if you really fall in love with the experience that you give your challengers, when you're talking to people about them joining a challenge group, before they buy anything, before they spend a penny, when you're talking to them, they're going to be able to tell that they're not just buying a challenge pack, they're buying you. Because remember, the big picture is finding those 2 or 3 great leaders. I don't really care about 2 Success Club points or $50 commission. I care that they get into this challenge group and have the best possible experience, so that they want to lock arms with me and become a coach and give that experience to other people. That's where my 2 or 3 leaders are going to come from. That's where the people I'm going to find that are going to be the escalator tribe, that are going to get on this escalator and live this lifestyle with me and never get off. So I'm constantly giving that hashtag an amazing experience. That's something we say on my team all the time. Hashtag give an amazing experience. Hashtag tunnel vision. Hashtag 5 best friends. Like, if your goal is like 20 best friends, like you want to hit Success Club 40, and your goal is 20 best friends, and you're going to give 20 people an amazing experience every month, like, do it. But whatever your goal is, like, make sure you're not just shooting for the points, because that's when your job really starts. When you get the points that your job's not done, like, that's when you got to roll up your sleeves and really go to work. Because if you give them an amazing experience, you're going to be way more likely to become a coach. And if they become a coach, you're going to make a way better coach, because they're going to give that same experience to their people too. So that's kind of how I help coaches with the belief piece as well. If you can help your coaches have this really, really powerful why that they're thinking about, and it's fueling them every day, and they have this really strong belief, and you couple those 2 things together, like, they're never going to stop. They're never going to get off the escalator. And it's hashtag inevitable that they're going to find their 2 or 3 leaders that are going to run with them and start to build teams of their own. It's inevitable you guys are going to find your 2 or 3 leaders. The cool thing about this business is it's your business. Like, you're the boss. you don't have a boss that's going to say, hey, you're not good enough at this. You're going too slow. Like, you are the boss. There is no timeline. There is no deadline. The only way you can mess this up is if you give up. So how many of you guys are like going to get on this escalator for the last time and never get off this thing? Yeah? All right, cool. So that's kind of the mindset piece that I talk about. And I'm constantly going over that with my coaches because that's 80% of the battle. Like, the skills are the easy part, right? So we're constantly working on that mindset piece. I'll tell you guys, like, most of the coaches I've seen in this business that are here long-term, because I've been here for 10 years, these coaches that I see have these successful businesses that stay really successful and have this growth year over year over year are coaches that have a foundation of personal development. Like, it's just like they like can't get enough of it. They like love it. I mean, they implement it too, though. Like, they read the stuff and they implement it. Like, but they know it's who they are. It fuels them, and it's the foundation of their team. Like, their team culture is personal growth, personal development. So definitely that mindset piece, that's 80% of the battle. And then the skills, like, there's 5 skills. I kind of broke it down into 5 skills that I teach my coaches. And once my coaches get to, like, I try to help them, I ask them kind of like on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with this skill? Confidence wise, like, just, you know, where are you at? Like, as far as like how you feel about this skill. And once they get to like an 8 out of 10 in all 5 skills, like, they're killing it. But if one of the 5 is a little bit off, like, it throws off the rest. It throws off their whole business. So I don't have to go into huge depth on it, but the 5 skills, like, the first one is sharing on social media, sharing your journey on social media. So you got to be on a journey. You got to be on this escalator. But as far as like sharing that, the best advice I can give you, and this is advice that I had to give myself, was most coaches, when they're thinking about posting and they're hesitant about it, it's because they're thinking about how 1 or 2 people in their life are gonna react to their posting. There's like 1 or 2 people that they're afraid of what that person's gonna think, and so they don't post, which is a shame because there's thousands and thousands of people that would love to see what you post. There's thousands and thousands of people that would benefit from the things you're doing that you're benefiting from. But nobody's shared those things with them yet, like someone shared with you. So instead of worrying about what 1 or 2 people think about what you're sharing, focus on the thousands and thousands of people that would love to benefit the way you guys have benefited, would love someone to share what someone shared with you. And if those 1 or 2 people don't care or don't like what you post, they can do you a favor and unfriend you because they're not your people. Like, life's too short to worry about what if somebody doesn't like your lifestyle, doesn't like what you're doing, like, who cares? Like, they're not your people. There's too many other people out there that would love to see what you're doing, would love to be a part of what you're doing. Let those thousands of people dictate what you post, not those 1 or 2. That's the biggest piece. So get out of your head and stop worrying about what other people think of you, and come from your heart and focus on what you can do to serve others. Think about how much this, like, being on a team call like this, being a part of a team like this, these workouts, this personal development, this culture, think about like what this has done for you, how this has impacted your life. There's so many other people that would love to be a part of something like this and have just a piece of what you already have, but no one's invited them yet. No one shared this stuff with them yet. That's our job. So that's the first skill, is sharing that journey on social media every day. And the thing is, when you're doing that sharing, like, just got to understand that it's going to take people a while for them to finally say yes. You got to plant those seeds, and slowly over time, eventually they'll be ready. I have people that have been watching me for years that finally are ready. It took them 2, 3, 4 years of courage, or life was crazy. And then they finally got to the place where they were like, okay, I'm ready now. Because because my mindset, my approach to the business wasn't like, oh, I'm desperate for you. You have to do this or I'm not going to be successful. It was like, yo, like, this is my lifestyle. Like, if you want to do this with me, cool. But if you don't, that's fine. Like, if you want to do it in 6 weeks, I'll be here for you. If you want to do it in 6 months, I'll be here for you. If you want to do it in 6 years, I'll be here for you. If you want to do it in 60 years, I'll still be here, like, doing 21-day fix when I'm 90 something, right? Like, that's just kind of the approach. So get out of your head, stop worrying about what other people think, come from your heart, focus on what you can do to just impact someone's life a little bit with something you read in a book or some program you're doing or the community that you're involved with, that you get to surround yourself with. The second is to connect with people. Just be a human being, you know, like I like to talk to people like outside of social media. I know that's weird for most Beachbody coaches, but like some of my best coaches are people that like I met in real life, you know, like, because I'm just interested in people. Like, I do this gratitude journal, like this journal is called the 5-minute journal. So every morning I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for from the day before. It's really cool because it really like wires my brain to like focus on the things I'm grateful for, because we have a bad habit of overlooking those things and only focusing on what we don't like, right? But this gratitude journal is really cool because what I realized from doing it, I've been doing it for like a year and a half now, is that the things I'm grateful for every day are always those little conversations I've had with people. Like those little tiny conversations with like the person in the line at the grocery store that I could have easily just had my head down on my phone doing something, but instead like made a comment about something they were buying, or, you know, asked them about the shirt they were wearing, or, you know, asked them where they got their sneakers and just had a conversation with them. Those little conversations, like, yeah, they help my business, but like also they just like make life more fun. You know, like they're the things I always think about that the next morning, that was like, oh, like that was really cool, that little conversation, or that, you know, that I picked up the phone and, you know, caught up with an old friend, or, you know, picked up the phone and just talked to somebody that was interested in a 21-day challenge group that, you know, I could have easily just sent them like a text or something, but I just took the time to just chat with them, you know, and see what was up. Those things are really cool for the gratitude, but it ends up working out for the business too, which is really cool. So that second skill is just getting good at like connecting with people, like being interested in other people, you know, asking questions about people's lives. And yeah, I don't know if that's really a skill. I think that's more just like being a human, but that's something I think a lot of coaches kind of overlook. So, and then the third skill is inviting. So the way I look at invite, like, again, we do such a great job of overcomplicating this business, right? Like, man, the way I invite is like, it's almost like I'm just inviting people to like, yo, I got a party at my house Friday. Like, would love you to come. Like, that's, how easy is that? It's, you know, it's not like this crazy thing. I'm not like, hey, like, I have this party Friday, and like, if you show up, like, you walk in the door and there's going to be a couch, and there's probably going to be like these people there, and they'll be talking about this. And then after they're done talking about that, like, we'll bring out some hors d'oeuvres, and then there's going to be, it's like, no, like, yeah, I got a party Friday. Like, if you want to come, cool. And then what I would be mad at is if they hear about the party and get mad that they didn't get invited. Like, that's the worst. So give them the invitation and let them, and if they say no, that's fine, but at least you gave them the invite. And what's cool is maybe they don't show up Friday, but because you were cool about it, maybe they'll show up to your next party the next month. So at this point, like, man, I've had so many people that have told me no that eventually come around and say yes. Like, almost every single person says no the first time. Like, I don't really have many people that say yes the first time. So at this point, I just know that no's are good. Like no's are a good thing because it's one step closer to them finally saying yes. So I like get excited for my no's. Like I love no's. Love it. I think I'll tell you a quick story. When I was, I would say, man, I was probably 9 years old. There was this contest at school that if you sold 20 magazine subscriptions, you got to go on a limo for lunch to McDonald's. And I'm like 9 years old. Like I've never been in a limo. Like that was like the coolest freaking thing in the world. As soon as school ended, I sprinted out of the school and I started knocking on doors. Like I would knock on a door, they'd be like, no. I'd be like, cool. Next door. No. Cool. Next door. No. Cool. I was like, I'm going to just keep knocking on doors. If I knock on enough doors, I'm eventually going to find, inevitably going to get 20 yeses. So I kept knocking on doors. I didn't know it at the time. My mom starts calling around the neighborhood, trying to figure out where the heck I am because it's like getting dark now. I didn't tell her about this. She didn't know because I just literally went right after school. I'm 9 or 10 maybe. And I come up the driveway. She's like hysterical, like, what the heck? It's pitch black out. She's like, what are you doing? And I like was so excited to hold up this piece of paper with 20 names on it and show her that I got these 20 subscriptions and that I won this limo ride. Like I learned at a young age that no is okay. Like a no is just one door closer to your next yes. And then the next year when I had the magazine subscription came back, guess what? I did the exact same thing. And a lot of those people that said no the first year, they said yes the second time because they remembered me from the year before, you know? So just understanding that no is really a good thing. Like no's are so, so important. Like just starting to learn to love your no's. I think when Bree was in the Dash to Diamond group that we did, I didn't expect this, but I reached out to the author of Go for No. I messaged her and I said, hey, I told her a little bit about myself and I was like, I got this group. I don't know how many people were in that group, like 1,000 maybe. I don't know how many coaches were in that group, but I was like, hey, I got this group of 1,000 coaches. And I told her a little bit about what we did in the group and everything. And I was like, I would love if we're reading your book. I was like, I told her because that was like the book for that group. I was like, I'd love it if you would, we'd love it if you could hop in our group and do like a Facebook Live. And she was like, she wrote right back. I was like, yes, I love it. I'm in. So she like actually got into our little group and did a Facebook Live, and it was really cool. But that Go for No thing, like that, I think if you guys start to learn to love your no's and understand that no's are really like the gateway to your success, that a no is what's going to eventually lead to the yes. And one no is just one person closer, one door closer to that next yes. Like that's something that I'm lucky I learned like at a young age. And again, like get out of your head and stop worrying about what other people think of you. Like, and worrying about hearing the no. Invite them to the party. Like let them decide. Come from the heart and be like, you guys got something that's amazing that has impacted your life in such a positive way. Allow that to allow them to make the decision if they want to be a part of that in some capacity. Don't put a no in their mouth for them. Let them say no, because that's going to allow them to watch you a lot closer. When someone says no, they're going to watch you closer. Just understand that. And they might not like anything or comment on anything, but they're watching. They are watching. It's true. So that's the third skill, is just getting better at the inviting, following up. I just don't have people that say yes on the initial invite. It's the follow-ups where they say yes, the follow-ups. And if they're, I've been doing the thing that Bree taught me about the objection ninja. Like, I really like this isolating the objection. Like, oh, you don't have time, or, oh, you don't have the money. Like, well, other than that, like, what else is there? And then you isolate it. And then it's like, okay, now let's handle this objection. And if they still aren't ready, then it's like, all right, well, is it cool if I reach out to you next month to see if anything's changed? And they're like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. So then I invite them to the party, next month. I add them to my list. I invite them the next month. So that inviting and follow-up is the third skill. And then the big dogs, new tricks. Old dogs can learn new tricks. It's true. And then the fourth skill is giving your people an amazing experience. So when I start these challenge groups, like I tell them, like, get out of your comfort zone, guys. Like, interact with the other people in the group, get to know them, share a little bit about yourself, comment on their posts. I tell them that the people that get out of their comfort zone and connect and interact with the other people are the ones that have the best experience and the ones that have the best results. And I know it's scary, but just do it. You're gonna thank me. So I'm trying to get them to get out of their comfort zone, like before it starts, like before the challenge starts. Like I'm making sure that, they know where their calendar is, so they know what workout they're doing. I'm making sure they're going through their cupboards and throwing out all their crap. I'm starting to get them, making sure that when this challenge starts, that they already are out of their comfort zone. They already have had time to kind of read about the other people, learn a little bit about the other people. They've already had their questions answered. Like when day one starts, like they are hitting the ground running, like they're ready to rock. Because if a challenge starts and they're like not really sure what's going on, and they're just not going to have the best experience. They're going to get caught. They're going to get behind, and then they're going to get left behind. And it's just, so I'm really trying to make sure that they're getting to know each other, getting out of the comfort zone, getting comfortable before that challenge starts. That I think really has helped a lot. The other thing I do as far as giving an amazing experience is you guys don't have to do this, but I send them all a personal development book. And so they're all reading a personal development book together. And so they're getting fitness, they're getting the nutrition, they're getting personal development, and they're getting the community. Those are the 4 legs of the table. So that's part of the experience they're having. Because I think the personal development, like I said, like I know my coaches that are having the most success, they're the personal development coaches. So why not get my customers on personal development right now? Because the personal development has had such a huge impact on me and my family and my coaches that I don't want to wait. Like I want my customers to have that too. So they can either buy the book, but for my clients, because I get that $50 commission, I invest that back into them with a book. Usually the Miracle Morning. That's one of my favorites. And it kind of gets them in a good routine. What else do I do in those groups? I do a daily post that just kind of says like, what was your workout today? Everyone kind of comments on it. And I also have like a little video, like a little mindset video, maybe like a Darren Hardy has these Darren Daily videos that are really good. And I just ask people to comment with their top takeaway. And then I keep track of who commented. So like kind of at the end of the week, like do a recognition board with the challengers that commented with their workout each day, with like a number next to their name that says like how many days they commented on the workout thread, and how many days they commented on the video with their top takeaway. It's funny. Like once people see a number next to their name, like they're so much more consistent. Like they don't want to like be lower than anybody else. And I noticed like the coaches or the clients, the customers that like go 7 for 7 each week, like they end up becoming the best coaches. So, but yeah, like I'm in those challenge groups as a challenger. Like the challenge groups that have the best experience, like that end up creating the best coaches that come out of them, are the challenge groups that I'm my best like challenger in it. Like if I'm just like posting and not really showing up in there, like it doesn't work as well as if I'm really on the escalator myself, like really sharing in there, doing my workouts, doing my, I'm really living it, and they're living it right along with me. Like they're the ones that end up making the best coaches. So again, that's why it's so important to constantly fall in love with your journey. Like have this passion for your own journey is so important. Like anytime one of my coaches just feels off or something, like I tell them it starts with their own journey. Like it starts with finding a program that they love and do it from start to finish. like as the calendar says to do it, and find a book that they love. Like, because once they find that, then the business just comes. Like all the other stuff, it just starts clicking. But if that part's off, then everything else kind of trickles off. And then the fifth skill is just getting comfortable with introducing your challengers to the coaching opportunity. So again, those five, and this is kind of goes in a flow. So like sharing on social media, connecting, being a human, inviting, giving an amazing experience, which I think is the foundation. Because if you do that, then you're going to get more people that want to join your challenge groups, because they're going to see that they're getting you and the experience along with the other stuff. And then the fifth is introducing them to coaching. Once your coaches get to like, you know, an 8 out of 10, like get really comfortable with those 5, like they're going to be flowing, like things are going to go really well for them, like a well-oiled machine. But the last thing I'll say is, I was terrible at all this when I first started. And I didn't really, you know, get on like team calls, and I was like not someone who was going to get on a video and like talk and all this stuff. But that's life. Like when we were babies learning to walk, like we would take a first step, wobble, stumble, fall, get back up, take another step, fall, get back up, take 2 steps, fall, get back up. We didn't say like, man, I'm not really good at this walking thing, I think I'll crawl the rest of my life. You know, like we actually just stuck with it. We weren't afraid to fail. Like we just knew that was part of it. You know, we weren't afraid to hear no. We just knew that was just part of it. But then when we get to become adults, like if we're not good at something the first time, like we're like, ooh, I'm not good at this. Like I'm done. It's not like that. Like it's the same as learning to walk. With this, all these things I do now, like, you know, I wasn't really great at it in the beginning. Not that it's like rocket science. Like this stuff isn't rocket science. Like living this, like reading good books, working out, following like a calendar that tells you what workouts to do, like reading books that just reading, like posting what's working for me, like sharing things that are working for me from what I'm reading, you know, like not rocket science. Inviting people to a party on Friday night, like not rocket science. You know, like just commit to this lifestyle, commit to being on this escalator. Like this is just what makes you just feel like your best version of yourself. And you know that these things are going to help other people feel like a better version of themselves too, and invite them to the party. And if they want to come, cool. And if they don't, that's fine. Like you're not going anywhere. When they're ready, you'll be here, because you're not getting off this escalator, because this is just who you are. So that's it. Who's getting on this escalator? Who's on this thing for life?
Comment below. Yeah. Comment in the chat box. I think everyone's mind blown. The chat box is blowing up, and we love your hashtags. I wrote them all down, and we're hashtagging them all.
Hashtag escalator mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all these yeses. Well, Pat, thank you so much. Everyone is just like, whoa, this business is so simple. Like, it's not hard. You just got to do it. And I love how you broke that down.
Yeah. 2 or 3 leaders. It's hashtag inevitable. 2 or 3 leaders. Like, honestly, you don't need a million. And those 2 or 3 leaders, like, they don't even have to be personally sponsored. Like, if you sign up a coach and, you know, they're kind of in it a little bit, but then like they bring in someone that really wants to do it, like that's where your time goes. Yeah, you're not going to get elite points from that person, or it's not going to help your rank, but team volume's team volume. Like it doesn't matter where your leaders come from, PS or not PS. So that's something that I think a lot of coaches overlook, because, you know, you don't get elite points from them or rank from them, but I treat all my coaches in my downline like the same, basically. Like if someone really wants to run and I see the potential in them, like they get my time regardless of whether or not they help me hit elite or rank. Like I don't care. Like I'm more focused on the big picture, finding those 2 or 3 leaders. So I dig deep for those. Like you guys know Ashley Feld Dyson. Like she's been a coach for like 3 years. I remember she's on my team. Like she's like 4 or 5 levels down in my downline. Like I think I signed up my mom, then my mom signed up my sister, and my sister signed up somebody that signed up Ashley. And no, Michelle signed up Danielle. Yeah. But anyway, like, I didn't treat Ashley any different than my PS coaches. Like, Ashley showed up on all the team calls. Ashley Ashley was like texting me questions, like she was asking, she wasn't killing the business, but she was showing up. And so she got it's just the escalator part that people struggle with.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi just went out, but we're still here, so that's good.
Yeah.
No, but I totally agree. Everyone, we're one big team. Teamwork makes the dream work, always and forever. You're the bomb, Pat, and I know we're about to pop over to your team call. Seriously, thank you so much for hanging out and chatting with us. That was amazing, and I know everyone got so much. Keep it simple, guys. Just gonna do it.
Love it. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys on the escalator.
Later.